Papiervo. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing? Me? I'm a little bit congested, but hey, that's not going to stop me from reacting to some memes about Australians. Because that sounds fun. Compiled by Vazkill. Link down below. Check him out. Let's just get to it.
In Australia, we don't lock our...
Oh, he's speaking them. That's kind of nice.
In Australia, we don't lock our doors because we're scared of armed intruders. We lock our doors to keep the roos out. A rare image of an American and an Australian in a public bathroom at the same time.
Alright, dad level humor so far. I like it. I am a dad. I can appreciate
The end
this.
of Australia. Australia versus...
The end of Australia. Okay. Is that even like a joke? Like that might have actually just been a photo.
Australia. Australia versus Pluto. I had no idea they had beef.
Is that actually true? Is that the size of Pluto? I mean, but what people don't get is that Australia is way bigger than most people know. But apparently Pluto is way smaller than I do. So therefore you combine the two, it's kind of really shocking. You're the size of, or at least the, circumference of Pluto.
Australia man, caught a sea monster with no eyes and a mouthful of sharp teeth. I feel like Australia is where the devil keeps his pets. Alternative human evolution. That's just an Australian. Looks like Frost.
Where the devil keeps his pets. Isn't that something like what Captain Cook said when he found Australia?
Keeps his pets. Alternative human evolution. That's just an Australian. Looks like Frost, but it's spider season in Australia. But
no way, dude.
In the whole country. Oh damn, my bad. A cow caught casually eating snake in outback Australia. I am confused as to how the food chain works in Australia. Australian farmer celebrates rainfall.
Australia, even the cows are just different in Australia, huh? They're a little bit extra evolved.
Confused as to how the food chain works in Australia. Australian farmer celebrates rain falling on farm for the first time in months after the Australian bushfires 2020. Australian...
Oh man. And then it's gonna flood. But hey, at least he's happy for then.
Have accidentally been eating a fish unknown to science. Thank goodness. Usually it's the other way around. Fish unknown to science is eating Australians. Save the animals in Australia, the animals. Yeah, very funny. Let's all laugh at Australia for having all the deadly animals. 2 of those aren't even real dummies. Wait, what? Why do so many people think spiders are evil and out to get you? Look at this nerd run away in an overly dramatic cartoonish way, just because something touched its butt. Hashtag spot the Australian. Punching sharks, now declared Australia's national sport. Each year in an Australian park, hundreds of people bring their handmade cardboard creations to battle with other participants in a giant cardboard war known as Box Wars, the Mediterranean Sea.
No freaking way. I'm writing that down. Is that true? Box Wars? I mean, that's pretty amazing. That seems pretty awesome. Although, to be honest, it's like, no matter what you do with your cardboard, it's just going to fold in on itself and break, but...
Fits perfectly.
That looked amazing.
Inside of Australia. Australia, do this. If this happened, it would drown nearly 5 people. Australians women national team lose 7.
I thought I was going to say 5 million.
Nil to a team of 15-year-old boys. How about no? Is this a Halloween decoration or a picture of a house in Australia? The most dangerous flightless bird in Australia is sitting under a beach umbrella, stealing grapes. Are you going to tell what's basically a dinosaur that it can't have your grapes or beach spot? Because I'm not. The quokka is a marsupial native.
Or your umbrella. You're gonna have to buy a new one.
To Australia. They aren't afraid of humans and approach them frequently. Evolution's apology for the fact that every other animal in Australia wants to rip your face off. Hashtag Sydney Storm. Non-Australian. I got hit by a hailstone. It hurts. Oh yeah, those spikes are brutal. The what now?
You got spikes on your hail? Now why on earth would that be the case? Why would you get spikes on hail just because you're down there? That really is super dangerous. Holy crap, how do many people die from that?
This is a sea pickle, a blob of pyrosomes that live in the ocean. This one was caught off the east of an Australian coast. Bro caught his Snapchat. Thousands of people plan to attend a barbecue in front of the home of a vegan Australian woman who took her neighbors to court over the smell of meat cooking in their own backyard. Australia is mental. This is an actual...
Maybe she was on a diet. Because I know when you smell your neighbors having a barbecue, it's impossible not to be jealous and go eat something.
Photo of a dog eating a shark while two snakes fight to the death. Australian drug addict dresses up as
Only in Australia.
cop and raids another drug addict's home. The hunt is on for the culprit who stole a giant 10-meter high mango in Australia overnight. Australian news. Where did the man go? How Australian can you get? This guy was 6 foot tall. Fun Australian fact. This kangaroo is waiting for pursuers to come into the water with him, where he will try to drown them. They are extremely good at it. This guy really flew here, all the way from Australia. Australia is beautiful. See a horse.
These are so dumb. I don't even know what to say. Half of these are just facepalm.
Literally throw a snake at an innocent family. This really reassures me about my upcoming Australia work trip. In 2013, an Australian man set up a ghost catching camera. Instead of ghosts, he caught his girlfriend doing it with his own son. Australian McDonald's is...
What? I'm sorry, what? We're just gonna blaze past that one?
pooping on American McDonald's. What the hell?
That's not Australian McDonald's.
Rare mutated golden Australian possum is named Pikachu. A possum broke into an Australian bakery and ate so many pastries it couldn't move. This is how they found him. My dad got jumped by a kangaroo today. Damn. 1 week in Australia. That's a lot going.
Now, tornadoes are not particularly common. That's a lot more common in the US. But they do happen, and so do fire tornadoes. I reacted to that. So, you know, on one hand, it's like, okay, you don't get very many, but you still do. You do.
Going on. Lemur's sharing a meal. I thought this was a new spider from Australia. Not all Australian animals will kill you. Don't get me wrong. He wants to. He just
When he grows up, he will.
can't. Australian Prime Minister says he didn't poop his pants at McDonald's in 1997. 100% chance this guy pooped his pants at McDonald's in 1997. My friend left her window open in her bedroom and came back to find this. Look at his self-satisfied little face. Australia. If there was a post to describe Australia, this is it. Having an Australian accent is like being sent to prison for a crime I didn't commit. Being Australian is because of a crime you didn't commit. Cruel. Never.
That's kind of true, huh? I guess that's the joke. But the accent is nice. I don't know. That's just stupid.
For a crime I didn't commit. Being Australian.
But you are Australian for a crime you didn't commit on this. You are, you know, an Aboriginal.
Is because of a crime you didn't commit. Cruel. Never forget, first ever Olympics gold medal was won because the guy was coming dead last and everyone in front of him fell over. A national hero. How do Australians reproduce? We throw a boomerang and whoever catches it is our designated male. Why is a kangaroo smashing a pig? Why is the duck watching? Why is there a 10-foot tall guy with a spear in the back?
Least weird thing about that photo.
Australian man involved in a shark attack beats shark to death with his own severed leg. Do you know what to do if you're bitten by a tarantula hawk wasp? Hold on, by a wasp.
Is that a real thing? I'm looking that up. Tarantula hawk wasp. Oh my god. That is a real thing. And where else would it be from than Australia? Is it though? They are found in all continents other than Europe and Antarctica. Damn. So they're over here in the United States, or at least in America.
What? If I was an Australian magpie, would you guys still like me? Answer me. Australian young dad almost made his child blind. Andrew, 28 years old dad, couldn't stop his kids' cryings, so he poured no tears shampoo directly into his eyes. This is horrible. There was a man named Joseph who escaped an Australian prison so many times they built a special cell just for him. He escaped that as well. You know sweatpants.
Pretty badass.
In Australia, we called them tracky decks. I'm starting to think you Aussies are just fucking with us. We actually aren't, and that's the horrendous part. My Australian
Are they really called tracky decks? I need to look that up as well. Oh, no shit. I shouldn't have doubted it.
friend falling into the sky after I break his ground harness. Baby kangaroos, saved from the Australian wildfire. You know what really annoys me about Australians? They call McDonald's Macca's. Why? My friend just went out for dinner and
All that reminds me of is the time my iPhone randomly, after I first learned that it was called Macca's in Australia, my iPhone turned the app name to Macca's. Someone explain that. That was the creepiest thing ever.
this guy turned up at the window like he had a reservation. So this bird lands on the deck, takes a poop, and then looks
I didn't even see that kangaroo. That is really scary.
at the window like he had a reservation. So this bird lands on the deck, takes a poop, and then looks at me like he wants to start a fight. Monty bought a kangaroo and let it go in the house. Sometimes I get mad at Australian stereotypes,
These are zipping by so fast.
but then I remember that my backyard looks like this. Who would win? Every creature in Australia, every Florida man. They would breed. I hate how this is a viable option. Finally, some good news. Australia is healing. Due to less pollution, Earth is now visible from Australia. Listening to this from Australia.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah, that's so sick. Thanks for the support. I didn't say I liked it or it was good. Sounds like shit. English.
You guys are ruthless. That was just the nicest thing that guy could come up with to comment, you know? Hey, he's listening to it from Australia. Didn't say it was good. Oh my god, that's so mean.
English summer. OMG. I'm melting. It's so hot. Australian summer. It's a little hot today. Aussie wife is slammed for packing her husband's lunch. Stop treating him like your child. Don't talk to me or my son ever again. Dog head versus cat's head. Australia. Well, there's another thing I'll never.
Oh wow. Look at that, folks. And of course, Tasmania's cat food, because why not? Where's the dog food?
See. Wallaby hops along Sydney Harbour Bridge, surprising motorists, so they race cars. Australia accent came from alcoholic slur of early settlers, says expert.
No, it doesn't even sound like that. That's hilarious, but I don't buy it.
I've pretty much never been less surprised by anything. Americas, we need guns to defend ourselves. Melbourne man fights off carjacker with Nescafe Blend 43 jar. New password.
Hey, you guys don't need guns. I get it. That is a flex, you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean we don't need guns. We need guns. Over there, you guys are built different because you're used to fighting snakes and shit.
Man fights off carjacker with Nescafe Blend 43 jar. New password. Australians, strong. New password. Emus, stronger. Australians aren't real people.
What?
Australians, it's not that dangerous here. Claw machines in Australia. Many tears will be shed in Australia. Roger the Roo dies.
Oh man, why you gotta throw that in there? Roger, I remember him reacting to him a long time ago.
12. Australian guys encounter great white shark around their boat. I would be saying the same thing. Man with beer in one hand and a hose in other defends his home from the fire.
Are great white sharks mostly found most common around Australia? Because I know there's been some over here in North America, I believe. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if they're found. Oh, look at this. They do exist heavily in that region, huh? Oh, wow. All around the coast. Same with America, though. And Africa. Spooky.
Yeah, Australia. Yeah, that's pretty much every summer ever for us. Accurate. Welcome to Australia, where a fast food restaurant
Hungry Jacks.
literally made mirrored reflective sea gulf-proof packets for their fries, so they don't try to fly down and steal your fries.
No freaking way. Okay, you know what? Hungry Jacks actually is better than Burger King.
Australian man makes the ham dog, a hot dog and burger combo. POV, you are
Why?
trying to sleep in Australia. Pig in Australia.
What did that say?
A hot dog and burger
Let's go by
combo.
so
POV.
fast. You may not rest now. There are monsters nearby.
You are trying to sleep in Australia. Pig in Australia.
I actually would be spooked out trying to camp in Australia. That would make it extra fun, though. You know, the danger level makes it, or the perceived danger makes it feel more fun, I feel like. But I would be scared.
Australia steals 18 beers from campers, gets drunk, fights cow. Western Australia, covered in huge amounts of snake-infested sea foam. Courageous border collie
What?
leads
Snake
Australia,
infested.
covered in huge amounts of
I'm adding that to my list. I need to know more. Snake infested sea foam. I need to read that article.
snake-infested sea foam.
It better not be clickbait.
Courageous border collie leads 900 sheep to safety during Australian bushfires. An Australian man typed every number from 1 to 1 million in words, not numbers, on his typewriter. It took him
Why?
16 years. I was applying for an
That's like Mr. Beast. He's the OG Mr. Beast, huh?
Australian citizenship, and the interviewer asked, "Do you have a criminal record?" I said, "No. Is that still required?" Oh my god. Newly discovered
That's good. That's pretty good. You gotta admit, that's pretty good.
Australian spiders can swim and eat toads. I'm never going to Australia. Flat earthers claim Australia doesn't exist, and people who live there are paid actors by NASA. OMG, I didn't know Google Translate does
I remember that video too. Do you remember that? The dude saying Australia doesn't exist. Oh my god.
Australian. Ladies
Look that up. Look up that video. Australia doesn't exist. That's something wild.
and gentlemen, thank you for coming this evening.
Shallows and gentle joeys.
Australian helicopter owners are dropping thousands of vegetables
I'm curious what the rest of that was.
Shallows and gentle
Shalias and gentle joeys. Boomerang, boomerang, shrimp, you jack.
joeys.
Australian helicopter owners are dropping thousands of vegetables to feed the wildlife affected by the Australian bushfires. Footage of an Australian guy fishing from a drone is being investigated by authorities. Rescued this little guy to
Why? Because he got a bear? Wait, he's fishing from a drone? Why did that fly over my head? I guess drinking while piloting a drone is not technically a crime, because normally you wouldn't be inside it.
guy fishing from a drone is being investigated by authorities. Rescued this little guy today. Not all animals in Australia want to see you die. Dorita rewards Australian teenager with
Oh yeah, that's right. 20,000 bucks for finding this.
$20,000 for finding an air-filled Dorito chip in her bag and then putting it on eBay. Australians who won't
That's pretty freaking cool. It's wild.
unlock their phones could face 10 years in jail. As an Australian, I'm sick of all the stereotypes. I go about my day just like the rest of you. The Australian Firehawk drops burning sticks into the dry areas to further spread wildfires, thereby catching fleeing prey. Australian
No. Writing it down. The Australian Firehawk. That is ruthless. Kind of brilliant.
man pleads guilty to storming animal shelter to get his cat back. Quick, the Australians are asleep. Post pictures of normal outdoor animals. As an Australian, this is
Ones that won't kill you.
all I know about American geography.
Why is Texas everywhere but Texas? And New York isn't in New York. To hell.
You went around Texas. Australia in films versus Australia in real life. Instagrammer raises $500,000 for Australian bushfires by selling nude photos for $10. Good job.
Okay. At least it went to a good cause.
When an Aboriginal Australian girl graduated college in 2016, her grandfather, an Aboriginal elder who lives on a remote island, traveled almost 2,000 miles to attend the ceremony and dance with her.
That's pretty freaking dope. Do the haka. I want to see that. Look at that, dude. Man, that is pretty amazing. I'm writing that down. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm writing it down. This is just rapid firing a bunch of fun things that I want to react to. At their what? Graduation?
remote island, traveled almost 2,000 miles to attend the ceremony and dance with her. Australian problems. If you're ever feeling down, just remember.
It looks just like that scene from Signs.
Dance with her. Australian problems. If you're ever feeling down, just remember that 52,000 Australians have signed a petition to change the Australian currency to dollary dues.
Oh man, I long for back in the days when that was the most pressing issue in Australia and in the world, huh? We need to name the dollar the dollary do.
A meteor that flew over Australia looked awfully familiar to the Death Star laser. Meanwhile, in
Wow.
Australia, roads subject to
Y'all have some crazy lights in the sky.
melting.
Oh my god, look at that. Road subject to melting. Oh my freaking god. Does it automatically heal itself then? Does it fill in its own cracks?
Indicators show depth. Australia's families live in fear of the huge kangaroo haunting their suburban streets. What is going on
Wow, imagine living in fear of a kangaroo. Only in really only in Australia.
in Australia? America. Our national bird is the eagle, and it is a beauty, and it symbolizes freedom. India. Our national bird is the peacock, because its beautiful colors represent our country and its glory.
It's that emu, right?
Australia. Our national bird is emus, and we hate them, and lost a war against them.
Emu war.
Jamaicans world's
I love that I can catch some of these references.
second fastest man is visibly stunned after being beaten by a mullet-sporting Australian sprinter whose name he doesn't even know. In 100-meter heat, Australia
That's rough.
gifted the royal baby, a pet crocodile that was born on the same day as the royal baby, and thus has been named George. Their
Well, there were probably a lot of crocodiles born on that day.
twins. Australia reptilian conspiracy to place a croc on the throne. Who the hell thinks a crocodile is an appropriate gift for a baby? Australia. To all Australian kids, if you ever feel like you're weak or pathetic, remember, you live in the most dangerous and hostile country, where every creature is murderous and deadly. You're automatically more hardcore than any kid in any other country. This is actually quite uplifting.
It is true. You're badass just by being you. And I mean, not to mention the origin story of you're a bunch of descendants of convicts. It's all pretty badass.
I love Christmas time. Everyone in the
Unless you're an Aboriginal, in which case that's also badass. You know what I mean? No matter how you cut it, it's pretty cool.
UK, Europe and the US is blogging about snow and fireplaces and keeping warm, whilst here in Australia, we're just, with no tourists around, Australian scuba tour operators have planted more than 1,000 pieces of coral at the Great Barrier Reef to help restore the marine ecosystem. Australian men
Wow, that's quite the undertaking. Oh my god.
kept unique rock for years, assuming it's gold. It turned out to be a rare 4.6 billion year old meteorite.
They're really trying to just super glue the Great Barrier Reef back together?
Yeah, this is gold. It turned out to be a rare 4.6 billion year old meteorite. Yeah,
Whoa.
this is actually insane. So this thing weighed 200 kg, and they only died 40,000 years ago and lived in Australia. Nuts. In Australia,
I mean, it's insane. On the other hand, we still have great white sharks. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. And we still have alligators and crocs. So the world ain't that much different. This thing is pretty scary, though. Holy mother. Look at how tall those legs are. Sometimes I'm glad when animals go extinct. Like, usually we're trying to save them. You can let that one go. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.